Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Valagar Aloevain. Alright, so the next quest we're going to do is actually called Swiped Signet. Now, to pick this quest up, it is located in the Phoenix Tavern, which is located in the marketplace here. So inside the Phoenix Tavern, once it lets us in here, directly to our left here, we're going to see Grin White, and this is the quest giver. Now, the quest itself is located in the market, not in the tavern there. So we do just need to make our way down the kind of little side street here. One more. And here it is in the Quickfoot hideout. So I just want to open up the map so you can see about where it is. It's near the, kind of near the market tent, right underneath the bridge leading off towards the bank. So we're going to step in. Now, this quest, it does have you coming back to the start from where you initially start. So here's where we initially came into the dungeon. And first and foremost, we have to head off to the west here. So I am going to summon a hireling. As you can see, this is a nice chunk of experience here. Now, this quest, it does have some traps right at the beginning. I do want to point out that all of them are disableable. This one here can be disabled either by disabling, or you can actually pull the valve and
a warning
disable that there
for
as
a few
well.
moments, then falls abruptly silent.
Alright, so as you'll notice, as soon as we get to this second set of traps, it does spawn in two little baby spiders here, glass spiders. And I want to point out that they will, a few of these glass spiders do continue to spawn, for a few rounds anyway. So just be aware of this. And, alright. And here, just directly to our right, we can have it named. This one is almost always up, but he's not a guaranteed 100% spawn. So just be aware of that there. He does also drop a nice little chest for us, but again, nothing special. So this trap, these ones don't actually go off, and the box is actually listed here. Now, I shouldn't say they don't go off. Rather, they don't go off yet. Once we make it a little bit further in and pull the valve on our way back to the start of the quest, that is actually when these traps then become activated and can proceed that way there. Alright. So this room here, it does have a few spiders and a few different kinds of spiders, as you can see. So we got our black widows. We have the glass spider. And of course, then the glass spider lays its eggs, spawning in the baby glass spiders. And then finally, in the back right corner, towards where the chest is, just have to make it that far, we have a named spider. Now, he isn't actually required to kill. Again, it does make it easier to kill him, rather than just try to pull the lever. But all we have to do is pull this lever here. So if we actually sneak around the edge, you can usually get to the lever before you even notice that you're
with the
here.
Noise of an iron door clattering.
However, we're going to take it out. Get that extra little bit of experience. You know, plus some loot. And loot is always awesome. Alright, so now all that's left is to head back to the start. I am going to summon the hireling over here. And you'll find out why in just a moment here. Alright. So as we get right near the entrance again, what happened is the door leading to the south is actually opened, And directly on the other side of that door, it already has some enemies there. And of course, they're champions. Alright. Now, the reason I did cast a magic missile protection, or night shield, there's also shield as well for that, but there are a lot of enemies in here, as the Quickfoot casters are also known for casting that magic missile. Honestly, it's definitely a good thing to always have, be it an item with a clicky effect, or just carrying scrolls, if you have the ability to cast them. Alright, so as you can see, as we round the corner here towards the center, it does have a trap for us. Pull that, and that is now our full trap bonus. So it is able to get fairly early on, though there is a couple more traps. Alright, so this room here, I always hated. It is a giant room. I have found a trick: if you are ranged, or have any type of ranged ability, you can actually start taking on these enemies before they even get to you. Worst case scenario, you can drag them around the corner and melee them here. That way you're fighting them essentially, you know, in smaller numbers. Now we do have a caster and an archer as well, which will definitely bring up the rear. But you're essentially fighting half the enemies at once, rather than having to deal with them all.
This place belongs to the Quick Feet.
Now, right at the bottom of the stairs, I'm sure you can see the little silhouettes, and if you can't, you know, they definitely came after us here. So on the left and the right of the staircase, there is a silhouette of an enemy, and what they do is, as soon as you get their angle, they'll run up. So I just want you to be aware that they are there, as well towards where that barrel was. There was also another two, and then we have some coming up from the other side here. Now this area has a lot of enemies to deal with. A lot of them being ranged, so it can be a little bit difficult. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to skip this bottom part here first. It is much safer to actually skip it. It does have, as you can see, a lot of breakables, and this is where you can use that ranged ability. But up on that platform and the pillar, as well as up top there as well, there are other archers, and if you're not careful, they can actually tear you apart fairly easily. So I'm just gonna So as you can see, they do have a collectible, as well as a large assortment of breakables. As well, they can have a named. Here it is. I'm actually gonna hop up here. They can have a named scorpion. Now, one thing to point out is, once these guys do make their way down, they have a very hard time making their way back up. Archers. So in the case of Darkspur and any other enemy that chases you down here, if you can chase him down to here, he is a champion. Alright. So yeah, if you can have them chase down, and if you're able to get back up, you'll be able to just sit up top and range them. It is kind of a cheaty method, but you know what? I'd rather be alive and employ these cheaty methods than be dead. Let's give myself a quick top up here. Alright. So again, there's not much in the water itself. You can always take a swim. But other than just down there, or the moss, which I totally ran past. Just bear with me a moment here. Other than the moss, there really isn't much else in the water. Again, feel free to take a swim and look for yourself. But ultimately, it's not required. If you happen to fall down on this side, it is a little bit trickier to get up. As you see, it is fairly high, so it does require you to swim all the way around, unless of course you have the jump. So definitely recommend just not falling in the water, as it's a long way around to get to this one ladder. Alright, so now that I'm done fooling around, we're going to make our way around the outside edge, up the ramps here. Alright, so we do still have one archer for sure, I just saw. 2 archers. Alright, and as you can see, we also have a valve right there. That valve triggers that door, which we do need to open.
Air hisses as a pneumatic safety door opens.
Alright. So now this part here, it does have another trap directly to our right. And that one can actually be fairly annoying, but luckily, even if you die in it, there is a red shrine right here. So another thing to point out, as soon as we get to about that locked gate, there will be a guy that spawns right in here. And what he's going to do is he's going to open up the door here. And I see that Reaper over there. He will open up the door and spawn in a few mechanical dogs. So I just want you to be aware and be prepared for that. Ooh, we got a couple of Reapers. Alright. So here he is spawning in.
When the Quickfoot cries,
and there's his army of dogs. So these ones aren't the mechanical ones. Those actually spawn from the next door. Alright. So now that we progress a little bit further in, let's see if we can spot these. So this door here, which is actually locked, if you do have someone who can open locks or knock, I definitely recommend going through here. Once you open it, like actually open the door, it will spawn a few enemies in there, but I also want to point out it's also going to spawn one out here as well behind you. So just be prepared that you're essentially getting flanked. And it does have a named enemy inside, so, you know, minus the opening block, does give you a little extra experience for a little extra work. And if you do have the monster manual, as you can see, it got us a nice chunk of experience there. And again, a chest. Nothing special. In fact, most of these random quests won't actually have any named loot. Unfortunately, there's nothing associated with them, so they are lacking in that department there. But you can't always go for the good named loot. Sometimes random generated loot can be just as good, if not better. It all depends on, you know, what specifically you are missing for your character here. Yeah, so this is also something that I've noticed before. It's like half covered, half not, so it actually lets you do sneaking around it. But ultimately, there's nothing there. Alright. Now, and same with this one here. It's like a half wall, and then a grate. Like, it almost looks like they were doing some testing in here, and just left it as is. Here's another one. Kind of looks like they were just testing various entrances and doorways, just to see how they would look, and just kind of left it here. Alright. So I want to point out this door here specifically. Now this rune is a wisdom rune. This one I do remember. And behind it, there is actually possible named enemies. There will only ever be one at a time, so it spawns in methods. You can either get named fire, a named ice, or a named air. So we got the fire, or it can actually spawn in 3 non-named methods. So if you're looking to then fill out that monster manual, you may end up having to run this a couple of times. If you're doing it specifically for that, obviously I do recommend just, you know, speed running it on like casual, getting to this point, opening and checking, and going from there. So regardless of what named creature spawns, you always get the same loot chest here. However, if you get one where it just has the 3 enemies and no actual named, again, you don't get that loot chest. So it is a little bit up to chance there and the RNG gods. Alright. So I do want to point out that once this door here is open, it will spawn in some additional support here. Just be prepared for that, as it can get you in a fairly sticky situation, again, if you are not prepared to handle that. However, once you've gotten past that, we're complete now. We've got our ransack bonus, we've got conquest, full trap bonus. All we've got are just a couple of enemies left. And the last of our breakables. Now, right around here, there are 3 enemies guarding that chest. And in that chest, it will actually have a specific item, which is our signet brooch, and this is the whole reason we've come in here. So we can open it up, and there it is. I mean, I kind of feel robbed because even the end chest, it doesn't actually give you any end loot. However, throughout the entirety of the quest, it did give us some others, so I mean, ultimately it's not too bad. So as you can see, we got 8,500 for about 18 minutes of work. We'll cut that down a couple of minutes as my talk and explaining things. If you're just, you know, really going gung-ho for this, you could probably get it done, you know, 10 minutes tops. Even less if you're in a good group and just really rushing past everything. So it can be a great amount of experience for the amount of work that is available. Again, you turn in inside the tavern here, and you get your random loot. Alright, so that's the Swiped Signet. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys later. Have a good one all.